She seems to be enjoying it. She loves going out.
Yes. Not at all. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, Labor Day weekend. Join us in a word of prayer and then the pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for the many blessings you give us, continuing to bless us far beyond our worthiness. We thank you for this past weekend, the Labor Day weekend, and the blessings we have, and we thank you for those abilities to have professions and work, and we just ask that you continue to bless us with your favor. Lord, this next couple of weeks is going to be a busy time for all of us, and we just thank you for leading, guiding, and directing us with the decisions that will come before the commissioners and the council. And Lord, we'll give you all the praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Join me in a pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Steuben County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. The first item on our agenda this morning is Mr. Chip Porter with our Highway Department.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I have two NDOT LPA vouchers for your approval. The first one is claim number 17 for construction engineering for the County Road 200 North project in the amount of $34,212.88. The second one is claim 51 for preliminary engineering for the County Road 200 North project in the amount of $291.58.
approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
You.
Continuing on 200 North, we are paving surface asphalt today and tomorrow. Obviously, the road won't be open tomorrow, but we are getting closer. We have our subcontractors coming in after tomorrow. Most of the work remaining at that point is subs. 100 North, 200 West roundabout. We're just waiting on paperwork to come back for the draft construction inspection contract and for the last two parcels. We have made a final offer on those and those were accepted. We just haven't got the paperwork back. Small structure number 7. We're just waiting on NDOT to let us know if we received that community crossings matching grant project. For the fuel barn, Oscar Larson's scheduled to start installing the fuel center in the middle of September. I did work with my county liaison to look through our salaries because it sounded like the main issue that we had was our 1176 MVH regular fund. So we did work together on some of that and set out a option 3 for everyone to review. Countywide bridge inspection, still waiting on the draft contract for that. I've reminded everybody where their draft contracts are or not. Courthouse paving project. All the project paperwork has been submitted to E&B, so we should be lining up to go. E&B is going to move their paving crew from 200 North, Brinkley to our community crossings matching your project. We have 2 weeks worth of work there, so then we should be ready to come to the courthouse project after that point once something comes up. I did receive confirmation from city of Angola. Their plan is to reimburse a third of the project cost up to $30,000. So that should work out. So if the project comes in at the quote amount, if the split would be, city would pay $30,000 and the county would pay $97,690. There is a safety grant the state has sent out that we could potentially qualify for. I could fund a portion of that part of the grant out of what I proposed for my line item for road striping next year, because it is a safety grant. They have a one-page form that you fill out, trying to push safety type projects, and striping would qualify. So I gave a list of roads that would qualify, and we'd be looking at striping next year anyway. So if the commissioners are fine, I can submit a financial commitment letter to the county council so I can see if I can make the deadline to go after that safety grant for next year.
Motion,
Move to approve.
I'll second.
all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I will get that drafted up. Submitted. General operations, we're still out mowing, brushing. And we're getting ready to start pulling berm on roads for next year. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you. Chip?
Thank you, Chip.
You want to get started early?
Yes. That's good.
The two items that we're bringing before you today are both LEPC related. So Jason Army, as the chairman, is also present. The first one I believe that's on the agenda is the invoice for the commodity flow study. We just need to get that paid. It came in the end of the week last week. The study information we have received, and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be reviewing it with Jason. The intent is that we will also present it to the LEPC on our September 19th meeting, and then have it to be able to present to the commissioners and the council for the October meetings to share that information. This is the grant supported project that we did last year, so $20,000 was appropriated and is available. We get the additional $2,300 out of LEPC funds, but need to push this through. If at all possible, it needs to be in by the end of the month. So just need you guys to approve today, and then final permission from the council to get it paid.
Motion. Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is actually an item times 3. It is a grant. It is the permission to seek a grant proposal. It is the same grant that we're pursuing 3 times. This will be the same grant that we pursued last year that paid for, that is paying for the commodity flow study. So it is the hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant. Agencies can apply for as many as they want to, up to $20,000. Last year we had applied for 3 and received the 1. This year we're going to, with your permission, also apply for 3 again this year. So these are a pass-through, or let me rephrase, they are a reimbursable grant. We would pay for them, and then we'd submit for the reimbursement of the funds for those. The 3 that we would like to apply for this year, the first one would be for the ICS 300 or 400 class that we did last year. We held one this year on our own, we paid for it because we were denied, but the class filled up rather quickly. So there does show a need to be able to have that higher level senior official, what they would do in the disaster. and how they can help us out with their roles and responsibilities would be for an incident command structure. We're asking for $3,500 for that particular grant. The second grant that we would be asking for under HMUP is one to bring in a vendor to do or host and educate responders on EV or AFV, which is electric vehicle or alternative fuel vehicle fires and lithium battery incidents. While the county has been lucky so far, we've only had 2 minor incidents related to electric or lithium battery fires. However, they're becoming more prevalent. As we had found out from one trucking company that there was a response to, there is a company out of Wisconsin that is traveling regularly across 80-90 hauling batteries to Akron, Ohio. And this particular fire that we went on was one of those said trucks. So we'd like to bring in a vendor to do a class. It would be an 8-hour class for emergency responders on the weekend. Josh has done quite a bit of reaching out to different vendors. We've got 4 or 5 quotes. One that we think that worked the best for us was actually parallel or similar to one that Fort Wayne Fire uses, that we bring in a classroom portion and a hands-on portion in an 8-hour day, costing just under $6,000. I believe that the grant that we are writing for to include some expenses is $8,000. That way we would be able to also do snacks, bring in and pay for paper, hand out emails, things of that nature, but $8,000 would cover the cost of that course. Was actually not the least expensive, it was not the most expensive, but it's the one that's gonna be the greatest fit for us. This is what our thought is. And then the last one, that of the HMEP that we're applying for, this year, every year, the LEPC is required to do an exercise, whether it is a tabletop or a full scale or a functional or an operation or a discussion based, like a workshop. 2 years ago, we did a workshop. I can say that now. 2 years ago, we did a workshop in partnership with LaGrange County. This year we did a workshop, and for this year we did a tabletop in partnership with LaGrange County. Next year we would like to do a full scale, which is boots on the ground, actually performing the work of the exercise, again, partnering with LaGrange County. Full scale exercises can cost anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 if you bring in a vendor. What we're asking or going to pursue with this, as is LaGrange County, is to do a $6,000 and $6,000. So they're also presenting a $6,000 proposal to pay for half the cost of a full scale exercise, where we would bring in a vendor to develop, design, and facilitate the exercise. The last 2 that we have done were done in-house. They were developed and designed by myself with the participation of LaGrange County. This year, moving into next year, in order for me to be able to play my role as emergency manager, it would be hard for me to design, develop, and facilitate a full-scale exercise. So we would like to bring someone in. And again, we're splitting the cost at $6,000 a piece is what we would be writing the grant for. So 3 grants, all under the HMEP, is what we're asking for permission to pursue.
Any questions for Mr. Greenmeyer? You want to take these individual, or we can take them all at once?
Yeah.
Well, if you could, please, you're requesting the 3 that are grouped together. The amount on each one of those is what amount again?
One would be $3,500.
Okay.
One is $6,000 and one is $8,000.
Okay.
If you look combined, if you tabulate all 3, even if we do not get awarded the grant, there is still, with what was requested in the training line item of the budget next year, the money is there to cover the cost if the grants are not.
Yeah, in your presentation, I thought you said that LaGrange was going to do 6 and you were going to do 6, but the one
Correct.
says 8.
The $8,000 is the one for the EV AVF class, AFV class, the lithium battery
Okay.
electronic.
So you have one for 3,500. one for 6,000
And one for 8,000.
and one for 8,000.
Correct. Yes.
Did you say, Mr. Chairman, that you'd like them grouped? Or it seems like they are.
I would accept one motion for all three.
Okay, that will be my motion, that we accept all three in a group.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Have documentation ready for next week.
Are you ready?
I am.
We'd be glad to have you. Thank you.
Glad to be here. We have exciting stuff going on. And even though weren't totally in pace, I think we are now. So I'm excited to be here. Kelly and her staff came out to educate us last week, and it was very beneficial. And so here we are. And I am here to discuss a grant proposal with you guys for the wildlife perimeter fence out at the airport. This is a project that has been on the airport improvement plan with the FAA since 2016 and possibly in discussion even before that. I really can't speak to anything before that because I wasn't involved. But I do know it's been on for a very long time. And we've gone through different phases, and I believe that we owe you an application for the grant. And that paperwork is in front of you for consideration today. This is a very worthwhile grant for us because it is a 95-5 split. Federal government is willing to pay 90% of the project costs. State and county and local county paid 5% each. And the money is budgeted and has been both this year and in the past. I believe it is in the CETA type fund. The good news is that this has been brought before by, I think, Randy Steuben. And we anticipated getting the grant a couple of years ago. It didn't materialize on the part of the FAA. They didn't offer the grant like we had anticipated. So we kept pursuing it, and this year, Jeremy Riley, who is our program manager with the FAA, has notified us and given us an offer for a federal grant equaling $1,857,140 to make this project happen. That offer stands on the table until September 9th only. If we do not accept it, the money will go to another airport and we'll be back at square one. The state portion of this grant is $103,757, and the state has already committed to it. Our funding would be also $103,500 or $757 for the entire project. What I am here today to ask for is for you to kind of accept the application update, as well as allow us to hit the accept button on our federal grant, if that's agreeable to you.
I'd like to make a motion to accept this proposal as submitted.
I'll second.
I want to be clear on one point, and that is that the FAA considers the BOAC as their as the airport sponsors that represents you folks. And so when they send the grant out, they send it out to the BOAC as the sponsor. And that's who they put on the document. So it would be myself as the BOAC president that will get that sign and accept letter. So if that is something that you want to change in the future, there are airports that do have like co-sponsorships where the county commissioners would also have to, sign on future grants. But on this one, with the time frame of the 9th, we don't want to lose it. I'm just throwing that out there for your consideration. Should you, want to move that forward on other grants, we can always work with them to try and fix that. I also did want to give you a heads up that we'll be back. BOAC will be back very shortly with another grant that we expect will have an offer to it, and it's for snow removal equipment. You already have the application for that, correct, Kelly?
I believe we do, yes.
Yeah, I think that's what you told us. So that application's back in line, and we're looking forward to getting a nice piece of snow removal equipment out there too. We'll also be bringing an application to you probably, if not this fall, probably early next year for the consideration of new lighting on the airfield. We want to be ahead of the game going forward and not playing catch up. So we are also hoping to make more appearances here. My VP's not here. He's going to be here, Steve Campbell. One of us will be showing up more often here to just give you basic updates on the construction of this project and where we are. As far as the project itself goes, it is a complete project. The fence will go completely around the airport proper. It is a wildlife fence, so we're hoping to eliminate or definitely reduce the risk of deer and geese on the actual runway. It will not be completed completely this year because there's a wetland involved, and that work will have to be done when the wetland's frozen. Our contractors know they have to lay down plywood and everything else. They can't disturb the wetlands. So there'll be a lot of, you may see us more often to give you updates on that because we're working really hard not to have any problems with the DNR or the state with regard to the wetlands. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
Well, first I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that?
Only to the extent that I'd like to inform the board that during the period of time that I've had the privilege of sitting representing the commissioners out there and before that you and I were working with the airport has just done, in my opinion, a fantastic job. And they have been given quite some challenges. As we know, the loss of Randy Steuben. Randy did an excellent job as president out there. And Cheryl and Steve both were on the board at that time. And they've just continued on and improved. We've appointed 2 new board members after the demise of Randy. And those board members have jumped on, and I think we can feel very confident in what they've been doing and will continue to do. So thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. We do have a new board, and it would be unfair of me not to say that Steve Campbell, Dennis DeForest, Jacob Bailey, and Jim Getz, without them, this grant would not have happened because, as you all may remember, Randy was a high energy, highly wrapped individual. And we have decided to break those tasks down a whole lot more. And so we have more board involvement at the local level. And we're very encouraged by the number of people that have come out to volunteer to help us. We are expecting to bring on a grant liaison or an administrator, a grant administrator on a part-time basis. We have that in motion, and they will be working primarily with Ann Brandt to make sure that these upcoming grants go smoothly for the auditor's office. It really is our goal to make their job as easy as possible and to get these grants. Because personally, I would really love to have that new LED lighting for the airfield. That would be a huge plus for
I have
us.
a
So,
motion in a second. Once again.
oh, I'm still in it.
You're fine.
Sorry.
Any further? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All right, well, I'm out of here.
All set now.
Good job, Cheryl.
Morning. I see you sitting there.
Ready?
Yeah. We can get you back to work that way.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning, everybody. Been here roughly a week, so bear with me. Get my feet wet still. Only item on the agenda is for the bats in the courthouse. There's been bats in there a number of years. I tracked it back to 2016 when Gary Bear requested some bat tubes be put in. Those bat tubes were put in, but ultimately it's not going to get taken care of until every seam is sealed up so that those bats can't find a way into the courthouse. And Sheriff Robinson and his crew, they're getting alarms, right? Sheriff's office. Yeah. So it's taken away from their attention to something, if they had a real call, so they're getting tied up. So in front of you, you got two quotes, one from Drake's Wildlife and one from Bats Be Gone. Drake's Wildlife quoted it out in two separate quotes, one to put bat tubes in, seal up every area around the courthouse. And then they quoted separately clean up. Now the building's vacant. We're getting into fall, so I imagine that more bats are going to find their way in and make a home. Bats Be Gone quoted just sealing up and putting bat tubes in. They did not quote cleanup at this time. Drake's Wildlife quoted $22,105.23. So Bats Be Gone quoted $30,609. So in my opinion, the Drake's Wildlife Service, the cheaper of the two, would be the route to go to take care of this bad issue. If you want to look at the cleanup down the road, since nobody's in that building and it's vacant, I would go that route.
We need to take care of the problem first and then assess. Make a motion to approve Drake's Wildlife Services. The bat removal.
Just for,
Just for their removal. Yep.
that's
$22,105.23.
I'll second that.
The only place we have remaining for that is cubic cap, unless you want to ask the council for an additional.
I don't know.
But we go ahead and use cubic cap. As it is.
Needs to get done.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I had one more quick item. It's been brought to my attention that individuals are still going into that courthouse. So I'd like permission to work with Todd Patterson to eliminate the key fobs for certain individuals other than the commissioners, maintenance, and the judges.
Yeah, I believe, community corrections, we're getting some last items out. They should be done, now. I think you said by the Labor Day, so, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So was the request then, you guys are having him
Yes.
eliminate those with the exception of?
That
A motion?
motion.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that we, eliminate or, limit access to the, to commissioners and maintenance and, emergency services, yeah. Second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Somebody will come around and say, why can't I get in there? Then I have it documented.
Glenn? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here with a couple of quotes today, which I believe you've been provided with for a couple of Toyota RAV4s. I believe we're asking here the official request for that to come out of ARPA money.
Can I ask one question?
And if I have an answer, I will give it to you.
Did we see quotes from any local dealerships for vehicles?
We did early on, we were having issues.
Yeah, we did. We looked at Harold's and we looked at, was Dunham's, but the price range we were looking for the vehicle we were looking for, it was a little bit more for like some Chevy Traverses and some Equinoxes. But we're looking for all-wheel drive and a little bit bigger with a little bit better gas mileage. So that's what got us to the RAV4.
We have a rather large, I tried to bring him as Exhibit A, but he wouldn't come with us. A rather large code enforcement officer that's struggling to get in and out of the Jeeps. So that's why, again, we went with a larger vehicle for. Yeah. Big dude. I offer.
Questions? Motions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
I'm good to go, or?
Actually, since you're using ARPA funding,
He needs to go to council.
it needs to go to council. Yeah.
Get with me.
Get over there, Chuck.
Sounds good.
Are you gonna leave?
Yeah.
Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, Commissioners. Auditor.
Morning, Sheriff.
Good. I'm gonna call it an electrical breaker. We got one going bad in the facility. It's screaming and buzzing, and that's the cost to replace it. Side note, Ross Electric, we've scheduled them as fast as we can to get in here to make sure that it's the entire breaker. As you can see, it's a pretty big unit. We don't know what that all powers, so they're gonna break that down for us and also determine whether the whole breaker is bad. They're saying just by what we're hearing that the breaker, that unit is bad. So they're gonna physically come in and check for us. So I'm looking for approval to purchase a replacement breaker. Yeah. With on the premises of bad news is the whole thing needs to be replaced.
It's a contactor, yes.
Yeah, they would.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's it.
Mr. Birch, I'll break it. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Good morning. My name is Matt Birch, and I own land at 60 Lane 260, Crooked Lake, or the Kidney's Landing. And I came to you 4 months ago with the easement issue, and I'm coming again today just to get an update. I know this is kind of a new issue to review, but it's actually an issue that's been going on for almost 30 years. The land I know now consists of 3 lots, and then it used to have an easement that went between one of the lots. And the land got reconfigured, so the easement got moved to the north side of the 3 lots. And the issue is that the vacation was finalized, but the transfer to the county was not finalized. So there's a 15-foot strip on the north side of my property that's supposed to be dedicated right away, and the documentation for that was not completed. So I cannot access the back of my property through that easement that was originally proposed. And then another issue is my neighbor, his name is Sam Carr, and I think he's maybe on his way. But he actually owns a lot that's now landlocked. So this 15-foot easement that's supposed to be there, he has no access to that lot. A nearby neighbor purchased that lot, which is not supposed to be able to happen. And he's told Sam and I that we can't access it the way it was originally intended. So we came 4 months ago to kind of ask about this. I know Don's been looking into it. Our suggestion is that the county should acquire that 15-foot and dedicate it to public easement. That's what we'd like to say. Any questions?
So Don, where are we at on that?
Well, I can't locate Mr. Davis or Mr. Pinnell. Pinnells or Davises, I don't know where they are. There is no, I don't know what happened. This was back in Phil Myers' days, 25 years ago. You said 30, I said 26 or something like that.
1996.
Yeah, 96 it started, but then they sold the property in 99, I think, if I am. And just for, your name is spelled incorrectly, or it's B-U-R, is it B-U-R?
It's BERTS.
Okay, it is correct. But there's the Davises and Pinnells, which I have to name as parties, I have named as parties. I don't know where they are.
They no longer own the ground.
Right.
Now it's Mr. Karst that owns it. So have you approached him?
I've not approached Mr. Karst, no, that's an LLC. I think he has it in an LLC. Can't think of the name of the LLC, but I have not approached him, but you get to, the people I have to sue are the Davises and Pinnells that didn't complete the transaction. I don't know where they are, and that's my problem right now. I don't know how, I mean, I can find anybody, but it's expensive. And
Would another route be to go to Mr. Karst to try to acquire it, or if eminent domain?
I don't know if you could exercise eminent domain. I'd have to check that out. But is it, see, this is the property that to the north of your lake lot, correct? And to the south of Mr. Carr's, K-A-E-H-R's.
Correct. Yep, right.
One lot, and then he has the other lot that is lakefront, but you can't theoretically, you can access it, but you have to step over, you can't drive to it. Yeah, I've got that photo, but I mean, I could approach him. I could approach him if you want me to try to. Does the county want to purchase the 15? You tell me, you're my client. I mean, all this stuff costs money, and it's, I'll let you know which costs the least, I guess, but so historically, this 15-foot was supposed to be replaced with another 15-foot.
Yeah, Mr. Davis was supposed to convey it to the county, and that documentation is, or
You're supposed to convey it to the other property owner, I think. the easement across the property. If I remember correctly. It says
Do
20.
we have any recorded documentation as to that?
There are Commissioner, Planning Commission minutes.
Kelly's got me those, but the original vacation was complete, accomplished.
But the secondary part was not.
The secondary part was not.
Okay.
And I remember
There is historical data available in the minutes that says that it was supposed to have been done.
it was supposed to have been done, but it was supposed to have been done between the Pinellas and Davises, which are no longer owners and haven't been since 1999. It's been a while since I looked at that, but since 1999.
The Pinellas, yeah, that's about right. Because they could be to my parents in 2002. And purchased it for them 2 years ago.
So the county did
County vacated
as it was requested.
Yeah, the plan commission said, we'll vacate this easement conditioned upon you granting another easement at a different location. The first part was accomplished. The second part never was. So they eliminated the easement. And the purpose was, if I recall correctly, they wanted to build and there wasn't enough room to build. So they had to vacate the easement. And they said, okay, you can vacate it, but for the benefit of the other property owners, you have to create another 15-foot easement. And that was never accomplished. And you may not remember, you weren't in county government at that time, but we went through 2 or 3 plan directors in 2 or 3 years. And I remember pushing Phil on it a couple of times, but it never got done.
Sounds like it is.
I do have some original paperwork, if that would help.
Is it the plan commission? So, I got that. That's our,
Okay.
I've got what the plan commission did. It's correcting the problem now. Because
I think we get it corrected, would be my.
I could approach the gentleman out there. Before you're Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Okay, before you arrive, I don't know where the Davises or Purnells are.
So the Davises are kind of out of the question now because they sold the property to
Karst.
the Garst, yeah. So,
However, they would be named as defendants. They would have to be named as defendants because they're the ones that failed to do what they were supposed to do.
so now I talked to the Garst, Brad, and his wife is actually a title lawyer, and they said that everything, I mean, I think they checked it out and he claims it was all legal and they did all the proper checking. The thing of it is, there was a deed, I seen it at one time that Mr. Davis was supposed to sign off on and he never did. And I think it just got forgot about. And then that property went up for tax sale and he realized he still owned it and thought he had something, thought he might put a trailer there, offered it to me for $11,000 for a 15-foot and made the comment that, well, you're landlocked. That's lakefront property. Now, the new property owner, Brad and Diane Garst, they bought it for the same reason, to landlock me, so that they're afraid somebody's going to build in front of them and they want to stop that. They actually offered me a limited easement, but I can't do anything without their permission. In other words, I cannot build, I can't do anything. And they left Matt completely off of it. They said, we will not give him any access at all. And the thing of it is, if I go back to these old records, this thing was all conditional. And the thing of it is, the Davises thought they didn't even know they owned it until Steuben County was gonna have a tax sale. But they just simply didn't sign the deed. And so this has been going on for what, 30 years?
Almost 30, yeah.
And I mean, we were in here, what, roughly 10 years ago? And it just keeps getting forgot about. And yeah, I just think we got to get it resolved because I'm landlocked. Technically, I'm landlocked. I can't get to my property.
The way I was gonna do it would require service on the Davises and Pinnells, but, I mean, I could file. I'm trying to do legal research in my mind. It's a little difficult to do, but the way I anticipated was filing a suit against Davises and Pinnells and all the other parties. And I could try to bypass that. I could try, but I can't guarantee you the result.
That'd be, so if you were to say file a suit as you originally intended, you're unable to find where they're at, can you just publicize that? Is that an adequate notification or not?
It doesn't produce any judgment against them. It would, unless there's some sort of financial judgment against them, like the value of the easement, and then you're not going to be able to collect it if you don't know where they are. That's the problem.
Could you clarify that? I didn't understand that.
Well, the purpose of suing Davis and Pinnell is that they can't force the current title holder to give an easement. However, you could get money damages against them for the value of the easement and then potentially purchase the easement. But if you publish notice as opposed to actually find where they are, I don't even know if they're alive.
I know the Davises are because they just sold the property a few years ago, you know.
Okay, we'll hope they are, but you can't collect the judgment if you don't know where they are.
But even doing that wouldn't necessarily correct.
Wouldn't correct the issue.
It would just provide for financial settlement for the fact you didn't have the easement.
Correct.
Seems like you need to go to the karst. So
The only way you're gonna get that easement back is going to the current property.
Yeah. Carts sold it, yeah. Problem is carts purchased with nothing of record indicating.
But it is a record. These ordinances are public record.
The ordinances are public record, but they're not in the title records.
Sure.
They're not, and if they're not in the title records, then I don't think they're not binding on the subsequent purchaser.
He was aware of the issue when he bought it. And he thought he was gonna get, some leverage over the two of us. So it's not like he purchased it without any knowledge of the issue.
Yeah, but legally, if there's nothing of record in the title records, I don't think you're bound by rumor or what somebody says or whatever, comment.
So then that leaves the question for me, my legal easement, which goes through Matt's property now, because the county gave them that easement and conditioned that the other easement is developed, which they did develop it. They did make the easement. How do I get to my property? Because the county allowed this to happen, so how do I get to my property?
The old easement isn't accessible. There's improvements, there can't even walk. Can't even walk it to get there.
Well, the old easement doesn't exist anymore. It's been vacated, so
So they built, they were gonna build, I assume they did.
That's what they did, yeah. But that was all conditional that this other easement got put in. And I have that paperwork, and it was put in, and it was even approved by the owner of lot 433, 434, 437 at the time.
What do you have a plat or
Yeah, can I?
is that a recorded plat?
Yes, I believe I got that from up here. So what we're looking at is, here's 433, 34, and the easement to 437 came through here. That, the county went ahead and signed off on that easement because they approved that the new easement goes in right here.
But I don't see where the new easement is, so never was.
Well, no, it was never put down, but
Yeah, I got that, I got this or something similar to this, but I don't have the whole thing, but I've got this section here. And so once they vacated the easement, then this 15-foot was owned by the underlying title holder, which he figured out late in life that he owned it or, yeah.
can I hand these out so that everybody can?
They all have them, I think, they all have them. Yeah, we got some documents.
That's in that right now, it's on my file.
So Donnie. Where's the county lie in this then? Where's our responsibility lie? Well, legally, you have no responsibility. Morally, you know, it's a little. The plan director never followed through. And it should have been followed through, and it was attacked several times, was discussed several times, and it just never, I don't know why, but it never got done. Documents were prepared, like I said, I think if I recall, I prepared some of the documents to get the new easement established. Just never got signed.
Is this more than a civil situation between property owners there, of which we might be a third party to?
Well, potentially, yes, that's one alternative.
Trying to understand our position in here.
Well, you have two issues here. Now you have government immunity to some degree, and you also have latches, which is 30 years of non-action. But legally, I don't think the county has any responsibility. However, you can sue anybody for anything.
Right. You have any thoughts on this as I'm
Well, I mean,
asking all the questions here?
obviously you guys, you want the property, you don't want the financial, reimbursement doesn't do that for you.
Financial reimbursement, I don't know that is a concern as much as he's landlocked from his
No,
property.
I know, that's, and just discussing what Don was talking about with going back to the previous owners. That would just be a financial reimbursement. That wouldn't have anything to do with helping.
Except that
Several
you
months.
use the value of the easement. I could see where the resolution would be that purchase of the easement would solve the problem, and the purchase of the easement is X amount of dollars, and they have to pay. So, yeah, I could see that.
But that's only if the person that owns the proposed easement is
Correct.
willing to sue.
Right.
Yeah. And I asked John a question. If I understand what has been laid out here is that the commissioners agreed to vacate that property
The planning commission,
with
and the commissioners too, by word.
with stipulation. So that stipulation, so if whoever the property owner was, and it looks like maybe one dropped the ball and the other one didn't tell somebody for whatever reason. But without that stipulation being followed, would that vacate that agreement in any way? Not, or void is what was the term I was looking for, void, because they didn't do as the government agreed to do it if
they still own the property, yes. But it's been transferred. That's the problem. And it was transferred without anything of record in the title record.
The title record says that I own the easement now. I own the alley, that's what it says, and then my deed accepts 15 feet off the north end, it was intended to be the new location. Yeah. But that's a good question, I mean, if that is true, then my property would suffer a hardship because improvements have been constructed based on the premise that that was vacated.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't think you can go back and say, well, the problem, like Mr. Birch said, he and his predecessors in title acted in good faith. And they accepted, they obtained the vacation of the easement. Their part was completed. The problem is on the other end that Davis, I don't remember which was Pennell, one of the two didn't come in and, I don't know if they didn't come in and sign or.
It was Davis.
Davis didn't come in and sign or they didn't come in and request. Or they didn't come in and, we didn't contact them. I said the planning director didn't contact them.
Would there be another route? Could you file for quiet title suit and get us adverse, not adverse, but prescriptive easement rights?
I talked about prescriptive easements and I'd have to talk with you, both of you at some length about that to determine whether the elements are there. But I could do that. I think I have your number, Mr. Birch, but if you want to give it to me again, I'll give you a call.
It's 260-413-5577.
413-25.
77.
Okay. Much familiar. I'll call you this week and see if that's a possibility. I had thought about that at one time, about a prescriptive easement. But you say.
I've only owned it for 2 years. My parents owned it for 20 before that.
Well, you can tack. It's gonna make the owners. And they use that, but well, I'll take a look at it. That's an extensive discussion.
So this is getting anything resolved here today other than a direction?
Direction would be helpful. I know you guys didn't create this situation. I appreciate your time. I know you got other important things to do, but it came to you 4 months ago. Doesn't sound like any action more than taken in this 4 months. Took time off of work back then. I took time off from today to be here. So some direction would be helpful.
So we have, in your interpretation, we have no legal responsibility at this point. However, I would like to see this get resolved in some way.
You have a moral responsibility because now I realize you weren't commissioners at the time, but the county's employee didn't get the job done. We've since changed our procedures entirely, so this will never happen again, but that didn't help these folks.
So you'll work with Mr. Birch here.
I'll call Mr. Birch about the easement, prescriptive easement today or this week. But what are your hours of work?
You can call that number whenever.
Okay.
I'd like just to add one thing. I don't know if it's important, but the last 30 years that's been used and was understood that it was an alleyway and it was maintained by either the Birches or us. I mean, the mowing, everything was maintained by us. I don't know if that helps or not.
It may, as far as prescriptive easement is concerned, it was used. The problem is that it was used as an easement. There was an easement there. So you had every right to use it.
It's gonna take some research.
Yeah, it's gonna take some.
I got a feeling.
I've got another cases, prescriptive easements. But I'll pursue it with Mr. Burns this week and see if that's a.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for going a bit addition to the agenda. I'm trying to get this buttoned up and get this part of it concluded. I have a request to sign a certificate contract agreement with Health Varsity Center Funds. This would be for $12,000 to work with Bowen Center / Bowen Health to provide a feeder fund. And a feeder fund is a fund that is set aside for individuals who do not screen for any other type of payment assistance. So if you look at Appendix A, at the very back, it does set a price that was agreed upon with Bowen directly. So if anybody actually uses the feeder fund, it would be $185 for primary healthcare appointment, individual therapy session, and then group therapy session. They do offer quite a bit of spectrum of different services. So this could be addiction recovery, this could be healing support services across the board. And this is the cash discount. So this is not usually what they're charging for insurance. So we are getting a pretty good deal based on what the discussion we had. I did send this to Don Stuckey for review again. Just because this original contract was supposed to be fulfilled by a different party and they never signed the contract and they have since left the addiction arena with what, let's say, they've refocused on something else. So Bowen Center and Bowen Health have agreed to kind of step in the last minute and assist us and kind of become our partner, expanded partner, I should say. They're already a partner. But I am asking people to sign the contract and then the next commissioner meeting, hopefully I'll be here with an invoice for payment to them.
Any questions?
Yes, what period is this for?
This is for the remainder of 2024. And it is a one lump sum of $12,000. We did discuss what it would look like in 2025, and that would be 2 payments in 2025 of $6,000 each. We realize that we only have 1 quarter left, but they are looking at their outstanding bills for those that are currently enrolled in services, and they're gonna help zero out a couple of balances of individuals who have left therapy because they cannot afford it. So we're kind of doing double duty to use the funds in an effective manner.
Further? Motion?
Approve.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye. Aye.
Make it hard.
Clean dockets all at once, last individually. Those in the track.
Whatever's easiest for you, right?
It's doable.
Any questions on any of it? So there's motion for either one or all.
We'll make a motion to approve all of the claims.
Also. Clarify that this time. I think I made it a little. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Payroll for August 23rd, 2024, in the amount of $515,126.27.
Second.
Further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Signatures first.
Good.
All right, we have minutes for August 19th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sometimes this is the best one with the speaker system.
Any discussion? And all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Signed minutes of 5th. Randall for the administrative meeting on August 30th.
To approve. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
It's fine.
We have an invoice from Mitch Design.
That one's coming back around because that's the one that had like that $200 for freight. That was more than the cost. That went down to $67.
Sounds like
Okay,
it.
that's much better.
Move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
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 current installment for the 5311 grant for Star Transportation, Council on Aging.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Holiday schedule for 2025.
I have a question on that whenever you guys are done talking.
Question on what, Kelly?
Just for some forethought out there, as much as I love having December 24th off, and I would love to do that, I don't know how many people are gonna be here on Friday, December 26th. I didn't know if you guys would be interested in going the other direction. I don't know how many people will be mad at me for suggesting that. But if people are going away for the holidays, I don't know, it was just a thought to do Thursday, Friday instead of Wednesday, Thursday, but I know where Will stands on that, and you are doing a really good job of biting your lip. I don't know, I was just throwing it out there. You guys do what you want. Or you can put it on hold and wait a little longer. It is early, it's September, so.
I think the sooner we get it out, the better.
Aaron, did you hear from any of the other counties on what they were doing for that?
No, I haven't, and I just, in an effort to try to get this done as quickly as possible for the courts, that's why it's been pushed through. We could probably wait till the next meeting if you wanted. We could reach out a little bit more. The last time that December 25th and 26th was taken for the Christmas holiday was back in 2023. So 2023, 2022. I don't know. My holiday schedule might be messed up. That was because the Christmas Eve ended up on a weekend. So Monday and Tuesday was given instead.
But this cycle would have had to have been, what, 7 years ago?
7 or 10.
Looking at old ones here to see.
And the Grinch, so that's all I can say.
So it's the day after Christmas that you warm up to Christmas, right?
It's historically been Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Going back to 2020. But I could definitely check.
Yeah, I'd like to see what we've done fast.
So wait for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Give us some thought. All right. Table that till next meeting. The invoice for the jail roof construction.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Carpeting for the Director of Maintenance office.
Yes. Wyham did not,
Hey, clean the carpet.
clean the carpet when they left. Just kidding. All right, it's done, it's done.
I was waiting for somebody to say something about that. I'm glad.
Move to approve.
I will second that, sure. Yeah, like.
Yes.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Skip over the next item.
the seating of the on Washington Street.
Addressing and receiving.
Yes.
I will move to approve.
Second. Sorry, was on that.
Bond.
On. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, Lake George is getting, is their second draw? 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Approve. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
We'll skip 13 just for a moment, to the 14 since Grant's here. If Grant can get back to doing it.
Are these two separate ones, Grant?
No, this is supposed to be one Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Grant. It's here again.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah. So I'm here on behalf of Whiting Construction, presents to you guys the pricing for the design change that we received from R3AW regarding the courtrooms over at Steuben Judicial Center. Each of the courtrooms, we're looking at modifying the jury boxes and the judge's bench. The cost of modifications that R3AW sent over to us came out to an estimated value of $351,584.87. Breakdown of the costs and scope clarifications are included in the packets that I provided each of you. Commissioners, the packets I gave you guys included a copy of the drawings that were sent through as well. Couple items I want to point out to you in that are listed on the clarifications page of the top paper that I gave you. First point is that all work is scheduled based on this pricing, is scheduled to be completed on a regular time working hours. So during the day, whenever there could be court proceedings in adjacent courtrooms. Second thing is that each courtroom is expected to take approximately 6 weeks from start to finish for modifications, so that scheduling would have to work out with the courts. And then the last thing I want to point out to you is that in an effort to be a partner in this design change, Wygand has offered to complete all of its scope as a time and material not to exceed basis. So we take the risk of having the number, like if it were to go over, we would take the risk of needing any overage that it is. But if there's any savings, give it back to you guys. This part is just in an effort to get the project completed to the specifications that you all in the courts have for us. And we just want to leave the county in good condition whenever we walk away for the final time. So right now you'll notice in there that about 50% of the cost is Wygand's labor to do the millwork changes that have been specified. And so that's why we felt it was important to offer that from the very get-go. So I guess ultimately today, I would be looking for approval of the requested change request in full amounts so that we can proceed with procuring materials and scheduling that time for this work to be completed. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys for discussion. Thank you.
Questions, comments?
I have as many. Once again, the county is on the hook, I hate to say, for this $351,584.87.
as a result of these change orders. And I think that begs a question that I don't know that can be answered here at this time. Whose responsibility was that? I have a hard time understanding why this is county responsibility or the taxpayer's responsibility. This makes I just
I think that's something we need to be working on figuring that out. And I think that's something we can work forward. Working from here on forward as to who is ultimately responsible for some of these inadequacies, let's say. But with that being said, I believe this work needs to be done to make those courtrooms what they need to be and what they need to be done to function out of them. And, I think we can have that battle going forward. But I think Whitehead needs the information, whether they get stuff scheduled and started. I think that's the key here. I mean, the decision of fighting that down the road is something we can make. But the decision I think needs to be made is one, are these reworks needed? In my opinion, yes. And then two, can again go forward with scheduling the rework. And the other debate, I think we can have at a later date. Just my opinion.
Well, I don't disagree that the request for the change orders are appropriate and discussions with the judges and the courts and their explanation why it's necessary is not something that they're just frivolously requesting.
Right.
It's something that they've explained and shown how. Security is a major interest in this request. And I don't disagree that it needs to be done. And so what happens if we agree to tell Wygan to proceed because it needs to be done? And then any other parties that may be involved in this choose not to participate, then we're going to pick up the entire.
Yes or no, depending on how far we want to take that discussion.
I'm sorry.
I said yes or no, depending on how far we want to take that discussion, I think, on ultimate responsibility. But I think with that being said, the important thing is that we do get this work scheduled and completed. I guess the question is, does this need to be done? In my opinion, yes. And do we want Wygan to be able to start scheduling?
Our motion to move forward.
I'll make a motion to move forward. with the change orders.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same? Aye. Thank you. Excuse me, before. Yes, so you said it was necessary to approve this. So is that the approval there as well? Still out on this call. Let's go back to number 13.
Okay. That's the one I've been working on. The discussion was the, I had Jennifer send over the,
Foundation agreement.
For moving the, restricted funds from the opioid supplement into, their, grant that they set up for us in the city of Anvil, we joint partners in. And so we need a motion to approve that. What's that?
Move to approve.
Second.
Right in there. Thanks, Dan. All right, any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, I do have discussion on that, sorry.
After the fact, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. This is to send all restricted funds there.
Restricted.
So,
We will still have the non-restricted.
correct. As it comes in, do we send it?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't need to bring it back to you guys each time then?
No.
Just get it there. Okay.
So now you might have to have it appropriated though, or to send it over there.
I'll do some,
Kind of like what we do with the grant
Yeah.
reimbursement.
I'll do some work on that and get with Ann on that.
I would think, because it's funds coming into the county.
And they need to go out,
And they
so.
need to go out, so council's gonna have to have a say.
Yeah,
That would be my interpretation of it, but you can run it by SBOA. Premier Communications, what is this for?
That was for the being able to live stream from the
Is that the changes they needed to make to
Yes.
go from the clerk's desk to the
yes, then the live stream, be able to see
to
it.
the center console?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes. I'll move to approve.
Second. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's a bond item.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go back up to number 10. Bond's not here right at the moment. Any questions regarding? Yeah. Right now, I'm looking at anything in that table till next month. Or is this for the?
just right away, don't we?
Well, the class starts this month.
This is for the, this is not just the, had two of these going on, sorry. does start this month. All right. Okay. Now we probably ought to get that approved. How many did you end up having?
We had a couple drop out, so I think total there's 4.
Got a motion to approve the agreement.
Also, go ahead. Yeah. Second.
All in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
I was on a different department on that one, so I apologize.
I was pausing to see if we were tabling it or wait, or the motion, so when
you were ready to go. You find out anything further on the mail receptacles? You know, costs, what we need, anything?
She checked with Missy and
She said she hasn't heard anything, but was gonna reach back out. She didn't know anything.
Leave that.
you want my office to follow up on it.
Someone needs to, yeah. If we need it.
I need to sign this, or does this get signed after each employee signs?
It's after each employee signs, so you don't have to do that now.
Okay, anything else today? Other than announcement, if no one's seen it, it's cooking for the county today up at the park area by the old courthouse, right?
Yes, from 11 o'clock to 1. And Fire and Ice has also been sponsored for this event, so they will be there as well.
Yep, so you have Fire and Ice and Three Rivers, Metropolitan Title, Thrivent Financial, State Farm, Mike Thomas Associates. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Regarding the use of the chase vehicles for EMS, any action you guys want to take on that?
Oh, for our allowing them for an on-call vehicle?
Yep.
To protect them? Yes, I'll make a motion to approve. EMS department to use a on-call vehicle. Let's take a.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Stuff. I'll just make a note that we did receive item from the Angola Plan Commission regarding zoning of a parcel of ground on Main Street, and we received communication from Kelly Bailey regarding the park.
appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Kelly, Abby? John?
The judge was, sorry, took long.
No, you're fine.
The judge was late.
Judge asks for a phone call, you usually take those. That's right. Yeah. All right, we'll stand in recess then. Thank you all very much today.